Hello, it's Jimmy here at O'Reilly's. I'm looking at a Mercedes E-Class here. Just spent some time looking over it, so I know what the problem is. So let's go in and talk about it. So I'm using the Launch Eurotab 3 scan tool, and I've come up with this code here. I have been looking over the car because there was a dozen codes here for all sorts of other stuff. Now, about 7 or 8 of them did relate to differential pressure too high, differential pressure too low, ash accumulation, differential pressure too low, all of that, etc. I'll add the rest of the codes onto the video description that were there. But if we go to data stream for this one, what we have is, we'll start this up. We have -6 bar, so minus 60 millibars or 70. And if we start that up, it doesn't move. And if we accelerate the vehicle, you can see it doesn't move either. So like I said, I'm a little bit way through this already, but I wasn't really going to make a video, but I thought, yeah, why not? We've just taken off that pipe. I've had the MIDI vac out, testing stuff and whatever. I've removed the 4 E-bolts that come from there, these ones. Just tell you what I've done so far, basically. Going to get down to where the differential pressure sensor is. So we've undone the bolts already for that. So what that can do now is lift the ECU over the top there, and we'll get out the air filter box here. Right, so like I said, we've removed the bolts. I'm going to undo the 7mm hair from this. We've pulled off that inlet pipe there, that just pulls off. Now I'm just going to pull out that little plastic tab there on there. Press that down and unplug it. And then we can just pull the inlet pipe away from that. Grab this from here, pull it upwards and disconnect it. And that should pull straight out. Now we have the differential pressure sensor just down there. I'm going to remove the bracket completely just to make it a little bit easier to get in there. So I'm just removing these bolts. Now look at these 2 top ones. They do have, one of them's got a little, some sort of vert cable there, and this one's got a bracket attached to it. So do remember to put those back on. I'm using an E10 socket. So now I've put the bracket down again. We've got another E10 there on the sensor itself. We're just going to open. Now to undo this bracket here, we're just going to use a pair of these pliers. Just get that attached on there and give it a squeeze. If my hand can stop slipping, I'm all greasy. So now I've got those clips open. I've just undone the plug there by squeezing the tabs on both sides to pull it out. I just tuck that over there somewhere to the side. Now we can get the sensor out. So I've just used this little tool here to go over the tube and push it off. So I've got the sensor here in my hand. So now that's off, we'll get a replacement on and get it fitted straight on there. So now that that sensor's on, I'm going to go back into the live data. So I'm not going to put any of this back together until we check the live data. Okay, let's check the... no, we don't want that. I'm going to check the... we've got the new sensor on, so we just need to check the actual pressure now of the DPF, and we'll get it started up. So let's get the vehicle started up. We have round about 180 millibars. Now, sometimes these don't really need cleaning after you fitted the sensor, but it depends how long, of course, you've been driving it around with the sensor broken. So let's switch it off, and we'll disconnect again this pressure sensor back off. From the hose there. So now the hose is disconnected. We'll get the MIDI vac, and we turn the ignition back on the vehicle there. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect the MIDI vac up to the sensor. I'm going to put some pressure into the MIDI vac and see if that matches what's reading on the live data. So let's put some pressure into that and see if that's matching on there. Around about 500. There we go, perfect. Okay, so what I've done here is I've mixed some Launch UK DPF cleaner, and I've mixed it with 50% of water. So we've got that mixed inside the Launch DPF gun. Now we can get that into the car. Okay, here's the next stage. We have our compressor here. The gun is now hooked up to that. We have it set to 120 psi. At least it should be. No, our battery's dead, is it? Yeah. Okay, we'll get this switched over. Okay, so I've got like a charging system in the van, so I'll just stick that back on charge. The light should come on, there you go. And we'll grab a spare from here. We'll get that back in there, switch it on. Now we've got the DPF cleaning gun into the pressure sensor holes on that side there, the right side one. So it's the bigger holes basically. And we shall get that squeezed in. Now on these cars, I suppose I better mention some stuff that I don't usually mention here and there. You see this car, the DPF sits down low, right down there. So it is safe for me to just empty the complete contents of this straight in there. Now, depending on the design of the DPF, I did have a little bit of a chat about this with customers over the last few days at Auto Mechanica, so it made me realise I probably haven't been mentioning some stuff on the videos. Now, this DPF sits nice and low, so if you fill it up, you're not really going to backfill it into the cylinders. VW Golfs, for instance, where the DPF sits up here and it's slightly higher than the cylinders, you can, backfill it and hydrolock the engine. So if it's a VW Golf, I'd only put a very small amount in and then start the car and use the fluid while the engine is running, so it doesn't go back that way. But on these particular vehicles there, anything with a low DPF, you can fill it up. So these sort of Sprinters or Ford Transits, anything like that, you get all of the fluid in there, and it just helps clean it that much easier, I think, if you can, completely fill the DPF up in one sitting. It's just a little bit better, I think. So like basically you see faster results this way, rather than 5-second bursts. It seems to be, you can do it that way, but it seems to be like a slower process to me. So we'll let that sit for 10 to 20 minutes, and that gives us enough time to basically put the bracket back on, put all of this back on, and then we should be ready to start the car up. Okay, so that's everything back together there. Okay, we're back inside the vehicle. Let's get it started up. And we'll hold up some revs. Put that on a chart. Hold the revs back up. Sorry, I left the revs drop a little bit there. Let's make sure the revs are up high. Sort of 3000 RPM, won't it? Hold it around 3000 where we were before. So it looks like we've evened out there at 40 millibars. Let it idle down. We are at 10 millibars idle. We just come back to the live data again. Just select all of those items. Just make sure that all of the grams have come down sort of low enough that we haven't done have to reset anything again. Now we did reset stuff already. We reset the codes and everything. Fill level of the DPF is at 68% now. If we hold the revs up, Let's see if that's dropping live or not. I don't know if it will. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we come back from the live data and back special functions. Now, because this has had a dodgy sensor, it's going to confuse all of the calculations that are on the DPF. We need to reset that just to get everything to work properly again. So we need to reset the drift compensation because it's had a new pressure sensor. Any of these items here, we'll reset that. Okay. F3 to reset. Okay. Come on. Is the ignition on? It is. Oh, it's done. Okay, end of procedure. Completed successfully there. Okay. And now we shall reset. Where have we got? What else have we got here? We need to reset the DPF if we can. Special. Where do we just go into special functions? We did. No DPF one here. There we go. Sorry, my eyes are not all there this morning. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, the camera keeps going out of focus sometimes. Okay, we're going to reset the particle filter values. Engine standstill, yes. Done. Yes. What just happened? Yes. Oh, it's doing different stuff, is it? Starts to teach in process. Are we just doing the same thing over and over? Yes. Okay, cancel. We're done. Yeah. Don't know why I was doing that. I never see it act like that before. Okay, now let's go back. Check the fault codes. We have none. We'll go back to the data stream. Back to the particle filter. Select all of them. We should have 0% on the fill level now. Yep. So now the vehicle can recalculate itself to where it is with the pressure, the live pressure again. Everything's been reset. Okay, there's the end result on the live data. 10 millibars, 0% on that. Okay, we're all finished. So that's it. It's all finished. See you in the next video.